Hey there, Buck Bookers, and welcome back to another episode of Buck's Books. It's your boy Buck, and I'm just told you I was going to do another one, and here I am doing another one because I would never lie to you. The one that we're going to do right now is another bad book. I'm getting all the bad books out of the way. Don't worry, good books are coming up. I just did a good book, too. So don't give me that. But it's called Microadventures, Local Discoveries for Great Escapes by Alistair Humphreys. Alistair Humphreys. It's just the most British name I've ever heard in my life. Alistair Humphreys. It's like, I'm pretty sure that was the prince from Dragon Age Origins, wasn't it? Alistair Humphreys wants you to ride your bike in England. That's the book. What I just said, that tweet came in came in under 200 characters there. That's the book. That's the whole book. He wants you to get on a bike and he wants you to ride it around England. And I guess his agent talked with a book publisher and they were just like, yeah, let's just put some pictures in here and attach his name to it and see if we can sell it. And then they did. And they did well enough in selling it that it showed up on my radar. And I was like, oh, Microadventures. Local discoveries for great escapes. I love all those things. Let's see. Let's see what I can learn. Let's see if I can get any new ideas. I didn't get any new ideas. I didn't get any good ideas. I mostly learned about the geography of London. He talks about how what you have to do is ensure that you get on your bicycle and ride just out of town and camp on a hill. Okay, we might get arrested for that in America. I'm not 100%. Sometimes you just get arrested for weird stuff that you don't get arrested for in Europe. Like in Europe, you can just kind of sit in a park and drink a bottle of wine and take off your bra, and that's cool in a lot of Europe. That's not as cool in America. There's a whole bunch of charges you can get for doing that stuff. So I don't know if it's 100% cool if I just go sleep on some farmer's yard and leave my bike there. But maybe it is. But that was a micro adventure that he suggested. Make sure you can talk your friends from work into going onto a hill. Instead of going home to your families, just get on your bicycles and go sleep on a hill together. For team building. What? Why? Why isn't fair? Because I know I signed up for Microadventures. I know the why of it is because it's something uncommon. It's something I'm not doing. It's something that could add a little richness and flavor to my life in theory. But in practice, it's just dumb. He talks about finding a place. What was it, 4 hours away or something, and riding your bike there, and then riding your bike home, and make sure you stop in the pubs so you can have a bite to eat on your way, and this is how you'll truly see what it means to be English. I'm not English. I don't want to ride my bike that much. I like my bike. I think part of it might be cultural, and then part of it is just delusion. One of the I didn't read all of it. I'm gonna be forthright with you right now, book 2, because once again, as I clarified, I would never lie to you. I did not finish this crappy book. The storytelling was not strong, and I wanted to beat him up. And I'm not angry when I say that. Sometimes when I say I want to beat somebody, like Victor Frankenstein, I would kick the piss out of Victor Frankenstein, and I would do it vengefully. It would be, I would gain a perverse enjoyment from beating him to death with my hands. That's not how I feel about Alistair Humphrey. I just think he wasn't bullied enough. I think it would be like a civil service, like a humanitarian. It is my civic duty it is someone's civic duty to bully Alastair Humphrey more than he has been, because the fact that he published this book, and like, you know what? It's not his fault. Maybe it's not. I feel like it's probably not your fault. My constituency, like, I don't think there's a lot of overlap between people who are big into Alastair Humphreys and people who are watching my YouTube channel. But it is the fault of his audience, because they're enabling this shit. They allow him to get away with it. He talks, I've traveled, the first, in the introduction was just all bragging about, well, I travel the world, and everyone has been so gracious as to allow me to be paid to travel the world, and I can report on my adventures, most of which consist of riding a bicycle. And then I write in my blog about how I rode my bicycle quite fast, rather fast, and everyone says, oh, hooray. And he's getting paid money for that. So it's our collective fault. We did this. We made this mess. But I have to suffer for it because I read part of Microadventures and told me that she wants me to go outside and sleep in my yard. Here's one, he's like, Microadventure is to take a flashlight in your tent, go and put up your tent in the yard, simply sleep in the yard, you'll be amazed at the new lease on life you'll have the next day when you wake up in your yard. Alright, man. Maybe all these things are true. I believe that they're probably true for you. I don't think that the micro-adventures you are selling me will gain me whatever it gained you. Maybe I'm the problem. So, here's the thing. A lot of the book is just about riding your bicycle around England, and I think that there's a cultural component that we need to consider here, in that England is very small. So it's so small. Some would even say it's embarrassingly small. I ran the numbers to figure out here, and riding your bike across the majority of England, almost all of England, honestly, because it turns into Wales up at the top there, or Scotland rather. Turns into Wales on the left, but turns into Scotland up at the top. So you can cross the majority of England on a bicycle in 19 hours, right? So when Alastair Humphreys says to bike 4 hours away from home and then bike back, that's because you just crossed like a third of England doing that. You know? Let's call it a quarter. Let's be generous, call it a quarter. That is not the kind of experience you're going to have micro-adventuring if you live in Iowa. You can ride a bike 4 hours in any direction in Iowa, and you will just see an infinite sea of corn. It's like that terrible Stephen King Netflix, I was going to call it a documentary, Netflix movie about people who just got lost in the corn. Not Children of the Corn. He has he's expanded his corn mythos actually to include, I think it's like Among the Stalks or something like that. Lost in the I know it wasn't called Sea of Corn, but it was something like Sea of Corn. So that's Iowa and much of the rest of America as well. And you know, another component is it's dangerous in parts of America because they can shoot you off your bicycle. Whereas in England, you don't have to worry about that unless you upset the bobbies. Do they give bobbies guns? Or is just those silly little sticks? I don't know. But I do know if you're on a bicycle in England, you're pretty much fine because you can outrun a knife or like the machete that the street gangs are carrying around or whatever. So like, once again, a lot of cultural differences that would probably make micro-adventuring much more palatable if you lived in England, especially rural England, or even London, which I don't know why you'd want to live in London. it just doesn't translate over to the good old US of A. So maybe that was why I disliked it so much, but I think I disliked it so much because it was just pretentious. I didn't like how he wrote about himself and how the whole thing came off kind of like he was drafting up his Tinder bio. And I didn't like the Jack Kerouac element to it, I think. Just the Kerouacing off. I wasn't big into that. And I especially didn't like when he live tweeted in his book. When he was just like describing the tweets that he was sending as he like wandered across England on Christmas or something like that, because he walked for 3 hours and that was a micro adventure. And I guess by like, well, you're defining the term, so you can call it whatever you want. By a loose definition of what constitutes a micro adventure, yeah, I guess taking a 3 hour walk from your house on Christmas kind of counts, but it's stupid. It struck me as stupid. So that's as much trashing of Alistair Humphrey's book as I'm going to do today. Do you disagree, or are you incensed at my mistreatment of noble Great Britain? I don't care, but we can talk about it. You probably, if you're incensed, you probably won't like or follow or subscribe, but you can definitely comment or like email me, or I don't care if you threaten me. Whatever, dude. It's the internet. All right. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.